This is actually a very safe pick.
I want some rest. Are we having fun yet?
Okay, so we're talking about Jake LaRavia, and I have to say, I like his game quite a bit. Now, first and foremost, I got to get this out of the way. There's not a lot on him. If you're trying to find any type of breakdown videos, a lot of breakdown articles, there's not a ton. It's kind of hard to find a lot on him. I mean, if you didn't watch Wake Forest, you're kind of out of luck because there's not a lot on him. So I looked into it the best of my ability. I tried to talk to my boys, Swish Hill and Impeccable. Shout out to y'all. They know everything about college basketball and they know these prospects pretty well. I found a few articles. I found an interview with him in it that I was digging quite a bit. Looked at the stats, tried to see any type of breakdowns at all, and there's not much out there. But I have to say, from what I was getting and what I did find, he's not as bad as some people are saying. So let's go ahead and dive straight into that. So first and foremost, where is he projected? Right now, as it stands, he's projected at 41, which I know this is going to sound bad. Okay, this is going to sound really bad, but I'm actually shocked that he's at 41. I thought that it might be a little bit lower, especially if you look here and they have like Jalen Williams, which we went over him at 58, and I really like that player. So it's kind of weird, but overall, second round is about right. And that doesn't mean that he's trash. That doesn't mean that he's a bad player. It's just, look, you'll know a little bit more as we talk. So he's 6'9", 228 pounds, junior. These are some of his stats right here, but I'm going to go into ESPN. So as you can see, he's gotten better and better over the years, especially when he transferred to Wake Forest. But you can see he's offensive stats are pretty average. It's pretty average. Overall is 14.6 points per game, 6.6 rebounds, 3.7 assists, 55.9% field goal percentage. Now, the thing about this 55.9% field goal percentage, in which I found that he's actually out of this, even though that's a pretty decent percentage, only 18% of that is from threes. But we're going to talk about that in 1 second. Now, I did want to go ahead and point this out. And if you're wondering what was his highlight of the season, it was actually against UNC, which pretty great competition, where he went, excuse me, oh my goodness, 9 for 13, 69.2%, 1 of 2 from 3, which is 50%, 12 of 15 from free throws, and it was one other thing that I want to say. Here it is, 10 rebounds, freaking 10 rebounds. We got 4 assists, 1 block, 3 steals. Your boy kind of went off in that game. He absolutely went off. And overall, if you just look at him as the season as a whole, he's decent, okay? He's not crazy great, but he has some really decent games. And as you can see, the kind of high volume offensive load in which he's putting up 31 points or 20 plus points, it seems as if it comes from the free throw line quite a few times that happened. You can see here 22, he went 9 for 11. And then with the 31, he went 12 for 15. And then with the 20, he went 10 for 11. With the 23, he went 13 for 14. So yeah, but overall, I will say pretty good free throw percentage, especially for a guy of his size. Now, what type of player is he? What is he? Who is he? A lot of people don't know, so I'm going to talk about it. So he's actually a player, and shout out to No Ceilings because they actually posted quite a bit on him. He's one of the articles that I base this off of. But I will say this, he's the ultimate team guy. He makes the right reads on offense, and that's what I want to talk about first, okay? There's one thing I'm going to praise him like crazy about, but let's talk about offense. He makes the right reads. He's not necessarily somebody who can create his own shot. I'll just be completely honest with you. He's not the most athletic, and that's just being honest. That's just being real. He's actually not very athletic at all. He doesn't have a whole bunch of quickness, not a good first step. Not a lot of agility, not a lot of hops. Offensively, when the ball's in his hand, he kind of slows down. Not a lot of move sets. Now, I will say this, offensively, he is fundamentally sound, in which he has decent footwork overall. But if you're talking about offense, that's not where his strength is. Where his strength is actually defense. Because I will say this, even though he might not be the fastest guy on the court, even though he might not be the most agile or the most athletic, defensively, he is absolutely solid. I would even argue, even on the offensive end, he's not absolutely terrible, but it's just one of those situations where you're just not going to get a lot out of him. But even if you look at these highlights right here, you can see that his defense is very, very solid. He has a very good way of kind of switching from player to player without really missing a beat. And I've seen that over and over again. The more that I watch him, and the more I'm like, wow, this is pretty doggone impressive. I mean, even this play right here, there's no way he should have got away with this. It looks like he's kind of out of position, but he still got in position to block an alley-oop, which is stupid impressive. So offensively, while he might not necessarily be there, and he can only really be a guy who kind of helps his teammates and makes the right reads, overall, that's where a lot of his strength is coming from. There's no way he's in this draft without this defense, and that's just from what I'm seeing. He's really good at contesting shots. He's really good at taking on, a lot of times, the opponent team's best player. He does that pretty often. Now, what I want to show you, and this is actually really great defense. This is probably my favorite clip right here. As you can see, I mean, he really put Ben Kiro in a really tough spot right here. Oh man, that's really good defense. He was not getting past him. Nice little turnover. But overall, yeah, great defense. Now this is what I wanted to show you, because this is like a little interview, all right, pre-draft interview, in which he kind of explains what his game is. He's trying to describe who he is as a player, and I agree to an extent from what he says, but I will say this: he is stupid confident. So let's go ahead and listen to what he has to say about his game.
For somebody who maybe didn't watch you this year, or throughout your career, how would you describe your game for somebody watching you for the first time?
Yeah, I'm pretty much just an all-around player. Wherever coach puts me at, I'll do it. 1 through 4. I can guard 1 through 4, 1 through 5, really. I'm just wherever you put me at, I got a lot of versatility for sure.
Yeah, I mean.
Okay, so overall, you can see that he's very confident in who he is as a player, and I do believe him. I mean, he's telling the truth as far as what I've seen. Yeah, I think he could guard 1 through 4. Now, when he say he could guard 1 through 5, I don't know about 5. I don't know about that. I mean, I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one, Chief. But 1 through 4, I definitely agree with that. Now, when he said he has a lot of versatility, it's very strange, man. It's really hard. He's one of those players to me that he's not necessarily elite at anything. I would say with defense, he's pretty good and pretty above average, like a really good defender. I really like his defense. But other than that, every other aspect of basketball, he's okay, or he's either okay or good. Like, he's on the fence of okay and good with everything. So it's just one of those classic lines of, hey, you got a lot to your game, but you're not a master of any. It's just one of those things, and that's okay. I think that's fine, especially if you're taking him in the late second round. I think that he has a lot of utility on a team, especially if you are a championship team or championship caliber team. He could definitely fit in and help. Like, I could see him on, for instance, the Milwaukee Bucks and thriving. Now, obviously, you're going to need him to be a little bit better with this three-point shooting. Not to say that he's terrible at it by any means. He's not terrible, okay? But he doesn't take a lot of them. And as you can see here, he only takes about 2.2 again, at max, about 2.2. So he doesn't take a lot of threes. So I think, honestly, if he can really increase his three-point percentage, where he can actually take more threes, I think that you will be finding a guy that's a really good 3-and-D. It's just a matter of him improving his shot and improving that asset or that facet of his game. Because right now, like I said, he can't create his own shot. So let's go ahead and look at the pros and cons. Once again, I don't really look at these. I just pull them up. This is NBA Scouting Live, and then I try to see if I agree with any of it or disagree with any of it. So as you can see here, 6'8", 235. Actually, did they have him? Where is he? 228. Actually, I don't know what he is then. 228, 220. It's very close, huh? It doesn't really matter. All right, so let's go ahead and scroll down. So pros: solid shooter. Yeah. Adequate scorer off the dribble. Sure. Excels at scoring on off-ball motion plays. They said that, everybody. Solid playmaker. That's what I was saying. He's a very good team guy. Solid rebounder. Adept at collecting steals. That's another thing. He's really good at steals. Even if you look here, on a game-by-game basis, he averaged about 1.7, at least this previous season, 1.7. Cons. Lacks an elite first step off the dribble. That goes back to not being able to create his own shot, and he's not very quick. Can struggle to score in traffic. Hey, man. Unselfish to a fault. I disagree with this. I don't think it's to a fault. I think he needs to be unselfish for him to have a pretty good career in the NBA. I don't agree with that. Can be undisciplined defensively. I didn't see a lot of that, but hey, only an average athlete at best. True. Maybe in between positions. I don't really think this is a pretty good pros and cons list. I think this goes back to not really knowing a lot about, like, it's not much out there on him. Like, people don't really talk about him that often. I mean, shoot, guys, I even went into different YouTube highlight videos just to see, okay, what do people have to say about him? And a lot of those videos has 0 comments. So I don't know. Jake LaRavia, oh my God, is a strong high motor combo forward. That's where he's going to get utility, being a high motor combo forward. I would say his defense high motor is going to really help him. That has been having a very good junior season at Wake Forest. He has a variety of skills. Hey, we talked about that. That has allowed him to thrive. And he shot the ball very well in big games. He's not an overwhelmingly athletic though, but his jump shot, motor, and feel for the game could enable him to make his way to the NBA. And I'll say this too, and I didn't mention this only because I didn't think it really mattered, honestly, because I just don't think it's going to matter. But I will say this, he's good at using his body. He uses his body pretty well. This is a really nice steal. But he uses his body really well, especially getting to the paint. I just think that overall, once he gets to the NBA, it's just not going to be the same. I've watched clips of him bullying people like Brady Manick, but I mean, that's a stretch forward. I'm not expecting Brady Manick to be a Dwight Howard on defense, right? So overall, I'm not necessarily expecting him to be able to do that to, true NBA players right now. So the times that I have seen him dominate, it's been him getting to the line, him utilizing his body to the best of his ability, but also going against kind of guys that's not going to necessarily be able to hold their own defensively anyway. So I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not trying to throw any shade. I really do like him. I'm just throwing that out there. But overall, if you're just wondering what type of player you're going to get a guy that is, from what I've seen, very solid defensively, a really good team guy, and somebody who, if they create, not create their own shot, but gets even better at 3-point shooting, could be a legitimate 3-and-D player to make a pretty good career in the NBA. But I wouldn't really be banking on him becoming a star, and I definitely wouldn't bank on him being a great shot creator going forward. And that's just my take on it. But you guys, if you know anything about him, please let me know in the comments. Let other people know, just so we know what type of player this is, that whoever's getting him, whoever's picking him up in the draft, they know how good of a player he is. So I'll give it to you guys later, man. If you want to support the channel, only $2 per month, Patreon and YouTube members, link in the description, and I'll give it to you later. Deuces.